Hi and welcome to Leading Business Transformation podcast. My name is Jeanette Andersson. I'm a project manager at Columbus, and here with me today is Ola Björk, IT manager at Kanthal. Warm welcome.
Thanks.
We are so happy to have you with us.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. And today we will talk about how education and learning became a key enabler in your change management journey. And Ola is one of the stakeholders in Kanthals M3 Business Governance Program and onboarding process of new employees, and has experience from using the Columbus education concept. So, Ola, could you please tell us a bit about yourself and your role at Kanthal?
Well, I'll do my best to keep up with your good English. But anyway, so my name is Ola Björk. I've been a part of the Kanthal organization for close to 29 years. Started out as an automation engineer, and then it became IT and more IT and so on. And I think it was 15 years ago I became IT manager for the Kanthal division. Back in the days we had Movex and a lot of other things, so to say. But in the recent years then we have transitioned into M3. And it's been a great journey.
Yeah, it's quite a journey.
It has been. It's still an ongoing journey, but it's really fun to be a part of it. And but Kanthal is a global company, consisting of about 1,200 people, and we are a part of a group called Alema, which is in about 5,500 employees. Yeah. And we use a lot of M3 and a lot of Infor products. So not only M3, but a various range of tools and we put them together in something we call our digital platform. So this is something we try to enable for all our companies. We're not done yet, so we still have a few entities to implement this platform on, and we are also on a acquisition journey. So we buy companies and include them into our product range, so to say, and to enable us to do better, improve our footprint and things like this. And I think I will come back to this when it comes to education.
Yeah, exactly. And since the core focus of today's conversation is education and learning, what is your personal approach to learning?
I think I'm, from a personal point of view, I'm really curious by nature. And I think learning is something you live with, so to say. And I heard someone say you live as long as you learn. Wow. And I think that's close to my heart and fits my philosophy on learning.
Yeah, really important. And why do you think that it is necessary to have a strategy? I mean, especially when it comes to onboarding of new employees and significant transformations in an organization.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And when it comes to organizations like ours, of course, and I think perhaps there are similar situations at other companies, it's really important to have a plan and to have effective onboarding and training. And if you look at it, everything moves faster today. And that includes also the turnover rate of employees, good and bad, so to say. But in that sense, it's really important to have an effective onboarding. And I think you do a lot more or with less people today.
Yeah.
So this brings us into kind of automation. And also, this is a process like every other process, so to say. So I think it's really important to reduce the workload and to enable something like this, having reusable training sessions like e-learnings. That's a good way to address this situation. And if you look at, if you think of training like ABC, this e-learning then gives you the A. That's a good foundation for a new employee to start from.
Yeah.
And then the B and the C is where your colleagues and super users on the various systems comes in to bring it forward.
And that foundation is really important when it comes to
Yes.
the transformation and the change that we are exposed to.
Yeah.
I mean, many times we want to hide or even run away when we are exposed to change. So we need to consider employees' social needs. And we all have them, and depending on who you talk to, one social need might weigh heavier than another, but we all have them, and predictability is one of them, that there needs to be a clear plan, which is then the strategy. And part of that strategy, we have the education concept.
Yeah. And that's a kind of a, if I can put something in there.
Yes, please.
I think when I also talk to new employees, they find it kind of a relief to come to a company which have a plan.
Yeah.
Or to have that has a concept where there is something you can start with.
Yeah.
So it's a really good and experience for them.
Yeah, I think it is really important so that they feel that they are belonging to the team and to the company, that they feel that there is a plan for them.
Exactly, and it kind of gives you a context also.
Yeah. And that is why we have created the Columbus education concept and the educational booster kit, how to navigate in M3. And that is obviously a background to why we created this concept and start kit, is of course to guide employees and simplify that transformation for them in order to stay motivated. But another reason is also that when I started working as a consultant, I got the opportunity to train our clients. I was running around different departments, and depending who you talk to, they all have a different approach on how they learn. I remember one person who wanted to have a post-it note on his screen. That was enough for him. He said, just write down the steps for me on this post-it note and put it on the screen so I can see it clearly, you know. But I wanted to simplify this. I felt that there was a huge need of finding a concept and also then having a start kit how you navigate, because those are most of the time the most common questions that you get, at least when it comes to a transformation in regards of implementing a new system. So that is the background to the education concept.
I think when you, if you have this base to stand upon, then because I think you have that out of the way, so to say, and then you can move on to further, to more advanced things, so to say,
Exactly.
understanding perhaps more of the business and the data you look at, so to say.
Exactly. Everyone has the same basic understanding, and then it's easier to go to the next step, looking deeper into your own way of working and your processes.
Exactly. And we have not done this only for M3, so to say. We have also included other softwares, other systems in this concept to give the users the foundation of various processes, you can say.
Yeah, and that makes me really happy to hear, because I think that you can adapt it to anything really. And But when did you first came across the education concept?
Yeah, well, so we did the transition from Movex to M3. It was a number of years ago. And in that process, it was also kind of a generation shift when it came to some people within Kanthal. Many of them were very experienced people, like super users, or we didn't call them super users at the time, but they were, so to say, in fact. And we lost a little bit of our knowledge and experience, a lot of experience with those people. And we understood that we had to address this situation in some way. So we did an initiative where we established a new kind of governance on our business processes. And I think that's a key thing, so to say. We have enabled, so to say, anchoring within our business management. And as a part of this, and as a really important part of it, is to re-establish a good training or education concept. So we can say so to say, in an efficient way to our new recruits. And of course, it's also important to train our super users, because they are the trainers in train the trainer concept.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of, what do you say, documenting knowledge before it's lost, in a sense. And but it also gives you a big upside when it comes to stability when you onboard people.
Definitely. And I think that there are many organizations out there that is going through the same experience. And I think what you have done here, and when we then come to how you have utilized education concept in regards of the M3 governance program that you have done with the business process governance program, I think it's amazing, and perhaps you can elaborate a bit on that.
Oh yeah. No, but it's, I think coming back to this, it's really important to have an education idea, so to say. Then how do you want to reach your new people? And also it gives the super users a tool to have when it comes to further education. And as a user, you can always come back to something like this.
Exactly.
If you are uncertain of how do I do this thing, you can remember, or you can find out through the intranet or something, some channel, that okay, there is a training, I can do it again, so to say, because it's there, so to say. So you can do it on your, when you have an opportunity to take some time, you can revisit this.
Exactly, and I mean the potency to repeat, the forgetting curve. We all know that if you don't repeat, over time you will forget the information. So it's really important that you have a platform which you can return to. Right, but why do you think it is then that education is not invested in as much as it should be today?
Yeah, perhaps it's difficult to find the time, so to say. Perhaps it's difficult to invest enough time to create the material, so to say, or you don't see the upside, so to say, clearly enough, so to say. And perhaps it's also a question of who actually owns education or training in your company. Yeah. So it's questions like that. But with our governance project, so to say, I think we managed to mitigate, so to say, this and answer those questions. So it's clear who actually owns the activities, so to say, and whose responsibility it is to make it happen. I think that was a key factor for where we are right now, so to say. We're not finished by any way, but it's an ever ongoing journey. But at least we have a structure and a concept to follow. Yeah, definitely. And what do you consider to be the value over time when investing in education? Well, if you bring in new people to your organization without giving them the training they need to use the tools, so to say, that's a real waste of resource, I would say. It's like, and we say this sometimes, well, we have installed the Ferrari, but we drive it as a tractor. Yeah. And I think that's kind of sums it up, so to say, because you can invest a lot of money in various IT systems, for instance, but if you don't give the people the means to drive them, so to say, that's well, it's not perhaps a complete waste of time, but it's close enough. Yeah. And that also takes us back to our social needs, and definitely how important it is to keep those in mind and meet our employees in that change. Definitely. But and also I think this is about staying competitive. If you in this business climate that we are in, so to say, you need to try to stay on top of things. And of course, having skilled people, that's a key enabler to do that. Yes, it is. And to be able to utilize your various business processes and of course the systems that support them is really important. So that's a few things, so to say, but also education like this gives you the opportunity also to direct people from day one, so to say, into how you do things. And one example can be how you utilize support. So in our case, we have said that, well, if it worked yesterday and it doesn't work today, that's a ticket in the support, in the service desk. And it's important to get the message out there, so to say. And then, of course, how do you go about to register that ticket? That's included in training as well. So that, well, it gives you the foundation to stand on, so to say, to make it easier for you as an employee to handle your normal day, so to say, and to get a good start.
And have you saved hours through this in your support?
Definitely. And but of course, it's never done. So completely, it has to be repeated over time, so to say. But then it's also good. We can fall back on this again and then train the people again, so to say, when needed. But I think it's been a real help, so to say, by directing people in the right way. This is how we do it. It gives you that from day one, so to say.
And perhaps free up a bit of time from your core team in order to focus. Yeah.
And it also frees up not only for my core team, but also for the various departments where new people come in, so to say. Yeah. Or if you change work within various departments, and then you encounter a new system. So, we have a training for it. Please take that first. And then we can say B and C.
Yeah, and that is interesting if you start calculating all those hours. And what sorts of feedback have you received from your employees by using the concept and how to navigate in M3?
It's been overwhelmingly well, really good. Let's put it like that. That's where my English broke a little bit, but it's been really positive and no negative reactions, so to say. Everyone, I feel, want more. But when I interview newcomers, they say that it's really a pleasure to come to a company where you have this available. It's like you have a smorgasbord lined up for you, so to say, where you can start to eat from. And so this gives you a kind of a context from the start, so to say. And when you are new, you will be pulled a little bit into this and that, so to say, meeting a lot of new people. And but in the time between, so to say, perhaps you're not up to speed or anything like that. It takes time. But so it's an excellent opportunity to fill those kind of gaps with training.
Definitely.
And it's you can only absorb so much also at the time, so to say. So it kind of enables you also over time to do this in a structure. It's
important to spread it out, I would say. And there it also takes us back to the importance of repeating information.
Yeah. You can always go back, so to say, and it gives you the opportunity to train in the test system, following the guidelines, so to say, and then you can do it in the production, or you can go back and you can play around, so to say, but you have this as a foundation to stand on, so to say. And then when you've done this, you know A, and then you can use your colleagues and the super users to say B and C, which I think is really important.
Yeah, it makes me really happy to hear this. And of course, this is what we're aiming for. And it's, it makes me really happy to hear that people feel that they are coming home, because we spend so much time, at work. So it's important to feel that their social needs are met when entering a new company. It's it makes me really happy to hear. And for companies now embracing the same journey as Kanthal, what advice would you give them?
I think our learning, so to say, is that you need to establish a good governance. So it's not only IT that it's, so to say, it's the business which IT is a part of. So to say, the whole deal must be there, so to say. So you have the anchoring in the management and in the leaders, so to say. Who is owning the business processes? What kind of education and training do they want, so to say, for their onboarding and for their ABC journey, so to say.
Yeah.
And that's where we can utilize this kind of concept to have a platform to build upon.
Great advice. And before we end, we would like to provide you with 5 tips if you are in the process of a big change and you would like to invest in education for your organization. And tip number 1 is to consider education early on in a change process. What is the return of investment from educating your employees? Tip number 2 is to set a clear strategy and common goal with the education. And number 3 is to stick to one education concept, to have a clear plan. And number 4 is to make sure that all line of business managers are involved, which is a very important tip, I would say. And number 5, appoint a project coordinator whose role is to follow up on the goals and support during the transformation.
And I think you need to have a long-term, call it plan. It's not built on a day. You need to have long-term ambitions on this.
Definitely.
So it's not one and done, so to say. It's something you live with and something you do continuous improvements upon.
Yes, I agree completely. All right, that is actually all from us today. And thank you very much, Ola, for participating. And thank you all for listening in. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And please subscribe to ColumbusCast, Leading Business Transformation, so you don't miss out on interesting new episodes. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Ola.
Thank you very much.